We want to try and make sense of this extraordinary situation, really. Simiyu Werunga is here with me in studio. He's a security analyst. And joining us from NTV Eldoret is Dr. Lukoye Atwoli, who is a commentator based in that region. But first of all, Dennis, how is it possible that one of the most highly guarded places in the entire country has an 18-hour siege with a hawker?
I mean, that's the big question, Larry, in this incident. And if you listen to the story keenly, you will see a lot of assumptions in the security operation that was carried into the wee hours of the morning. And you've heard the Rift Valley regional coordinator saying that they assumed that there are many attackers because of the different gunshots that were being fired by this lone gunman, because he was using different caliber of ammunition. However, it is easy to be swayed by, you know, the helicopters and the spectacle of the numerous number of police officers who are involved in this operation. But of keen interest is looking at the situational analysis, because before any move of any security operation, and the security analyst in there will tell you that first of all they need to have done what is called a procedure they call panorama, which is basically mapping out a scene, finding out who is where and what is where before they can even move in. In this incident, that information was not forthcoming, and therefore it led to many wasted hours of trying to get inside. And the other question is, how did this hawker manage to breach the first layer of security? Right. Because the residence of the president and the deputy president are not guarded by your regular police officers. They are guarded by the Presidential Guard or the Sugoi company. This is one of the 4 main companies of the GSU. These guys are highly trained in vital installation protection. So how this hawker managed to gain entry into the compound and trace his way to the armory, and for the next 18 hours, he managed to fight off this security agency is now the question, Larry.
It's a big question we'll be trying to make sense of. Before we come to Simiyu here, Dr. Lukoye Atwoli, you're familiar with this area, Sugoi, and also the deputy president's residence. Is something like this possible? That for 18 hours, one hawker is inside the deputy president's home and is shooting at record squad officers, the security guys there, and they can't do nothing for 18 hours?
No, we are also still in shock around here in Eldoret, because we believe that the Deputy President's residence is among the most secure installations in this area. And so with the conflicting explanations from the police, conflicting explanations from the provincial administration, we still don't know what exactly happened. And it's not a pretty picture. It puts our security forces, it makes them look like they're not serious with what they're doing. And perhaps there's already swirling conspiracy theories about if this could happen, then there must be some other explanation that would allow a hawker armed with a knife, as some statements are saying, or with a machete, to actually gain access and severely injure a highly trained policeman and to kill another, and to have access to guns and to shoot around and to keep them busy for 18 hours. I think this encourages the emergence of a lot of conspiracy theories.
Those conspiracy theories are starting to gain a lot of traction, Simiyu, because it just seems so unlikely, improbable even, that the deputy president's home, heavily guarded as it is, saw this drama for 18 hours.
I think let's put facts together. One, in this country, the presidency is one. So therefore, whoever guards the president must guard the deputy president, which means the training is the same, the company is the same. Number two, I cannot understand how somebody can tell us that they did not know how many rounds of ammunition were there, how many guns were there. Under that kind of establishment, you need to have a commander in charge. And that person is supposed to have the facts in terms of how many soldiers he has, how many guns are there. They might not share with us in public. But essentially, if we are being told that they didn't know what was in that store, how many guns, then that is a lapse on the side of the security process. And then number three, we see a sense of a lack of seriousness. And before I proceed, I think first let's condole with the family of the officers. They keep on being killed on circumstances that we feel are not really good for them. We sympathize with them, we condole with them. Number three, I want to tell you this, Larry. When you have this kind of compound, there's something we call security layout plan, before you move people to go and guard a compound like the deputy president's compound, the persons in charge of this security must have a layout of the compound. Therefore, they must understand every neat and crit of that compound, because one of the things why you need to have that, we have something called extrication plan. So in the sense that the deputy president is in the compound and then there's an attack, you need to know how you can move him out, you need to know how you can move his family out, and you need to know how you can secure. What we are being told today is like they don't seem to have a layout plan for that compound, even if it is under construction. So therefore, to me, it's a serious lapse on the side of our security commanders, not our soldiers, security commanders, that we are getting this in a compound of a deputy president of this country, and the implication amongst us as Kenyans in the region and in the world is serious ramifications on how this country is safe and secure.
We've been hearing from the Deputy President himself, William Ruto. He's calling that attack on his rural home in Sugoi as a failed attempt to create panic and disunity among Kenyans ahead of the general election. Speaking to faithful at Ehura Stadium in Werunga during the installation of Bishop Timothy Gishere as head of Mount Kenya Central Diocese, the DP called on Kenyans to disregard such attempts and uphold unity before, during, and after the elections.
That I had visitors yesterday who were not very good people. But I want to say that those who seek to frustrate our unity or undermine our progress or work towards destroying our nationhood will not succeed. Because we believe in a powerful God. We believe in God. So I want to ask all of us not to be distracted by the schemes and designs of people who are against our unity as a country and our progress as a nation and our prosperity as a people, that we must keep our eyes focused, because I promise you, this country is in the hands of the living God. Without a doubt, this country is going to make progress. And all these machinations and schemes will come to naught, actually.
The Deputy President, Lukoye, almost making light of the whole situation and then turning it into a prayerful note. Your reaction to his reaction to this siege at his home?
Yeah, Larry, I think it is sad, and over the recent, over the recent past, we've had many terrorist attacks. We have had many violent incidents that have been politicized and blamed on political opponents. I think the sitting government does not have the luxury of blaming people for planning heinous things like this. A sitting government has the mechanism to investigate and to bring the so-called people who do not want us to be united. It should bring them to book. So when you find leaders of government accusing their political opponents really of these kinds of things and not doing anything about it, then this is an indictment of the entire system. I think an attack on our deputy president is an attack on Kenya. And if it is true that it was organized and it was planned, then it is a time when we should all come together as a nation and protect the presidency, as has been said. So if the government has information that there are people in this country who are organizing these violent things and trying to hurt the presidency, then those people should be in jail as we speak.
Okay.
They should be arraigned in court on Monday. Otherwise, it is wrong to politicize, and it is wrong to blame amorphous individuals and amorphous people for this incident where actually one Kenyan died, in fact 2 Kenyans died, and a security officer was injured.
Okay, I want to ask.
We shouldn't make light of it, and we should treat it with the seriousness that it deserves.
Before I get to Dennis, you don't think, though, Dr. Atwoli, that this was, as the Deputy President says, an attempt to create panic and disunity among Kenyans? That's his explanation.
So, I mean, if it is that the person responsible should be behind bars, And of course, it is possible that this is the motive and the aim. But if it is the case, then whoever is responsible should be behind bars. We shouldn't be discussing it in public rallies and in political rallies. It should be a matter that is now being investigated by the police, and it should be a matter to be handled by the judiciary.
All right. Dennis, I want to ask you this. Does your reporting match what the IG said in his press conference this afternoon? Does the official statement match what you're reporting from the sources you're speaking to say?
There are two totally different reports because, one, we are also talking to officers who are on the ground. We are also talking to our own very reporters who are at the scene and who are listening in and talking to the locals. One of the things that stands out is that there's some people are saying that this attacker was of Somali origin. That is yet to be confirmed. However, others are saying that this man was known by the locals and perhaps he had read the patterns of the security arrangement around the deputy president's compound, and that's how he managed to get this particular GSU officer whom he stabbed before grabbing his gun and then moving in. And then the other question is, was it also an inside job? Because a stranger can just move into a compound and know where the armory is and hide there and also change into police uniform. Remember, like I mentioned earlier, this is not just any other ordinary home. It's highly protected by the G company. And these guys are trained for over 3 months in vital installation security, and they're responsible for the security of the president or the deputy president when he's at home. Then when he's on the move, the Recce company take over. So somebody who has the guts to move in and carry out an attack like this, that certain things that are really not adding up. Was there a security lapse perhaps? Did he know about all these things? And this, I mean, with the attacker.
Okay. One of the other things, obviously, that people will want to know is the motives of this attacker. Why would they want to go into the deputy president's home just moments after the deputy president left? In your experience, Simiyu, what are you reading into this?
I think many things, Larry, because one, we don't expect such a thing to happen in the compound of a deputy president. To me, I look at it from a security perspective. I don't want to go into the politics of what the deputy president is saying. One is that there's a serious lapse in how we guard our high-value VIP personnel in this country. And I'm telling you this, the presidency is the cornerstone of this country. So if somebody can breach into a compound of a deputy president, then what will other Kenyans say in terms of our ability to guard, to safeguard, to secure ourselves? So what I want to say is this. In a compound like Larry, how come they don't even have CCTV where we have a control room that is supposed to manage the CCTV so that you can actually pick out what is happening and know what type of person this is? Because for the IG to come and stand there and tell Kenyans that we don't know what type of person he is, then it shows either they have CCTV and nobody was manning them, they have CCTV and they have no ability to keep records to see what happened, and therefore, from a national security perspective, this is a major lapse, Larry. It is a major lapse, and we should not, from a security perspective, trivialize what has happened today.
Right.
Yes.
We'll leave it there for now. Thank you very much. I want to say thank you to Dr. Lukoye, Atwoli, and Eldoret. NTV's Dennis Okari here with us. And Simiyu Werunga is staying with me because we have plenty more to discuss.